We made peace a symbol of ours. In the name of peace we gather here now. Oh Lord, please make these days of ours on this earth filled with peace. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new episode, Heroic or Heretics. This is Waleed Basyouni, the Vice President of Al Maghrib Institute. And I would like to welcome you all and welcome my guests, Omar and Ahmed. Inshallah ta'ala, in this episode, we will be talking about the concept of terrorism and the concept of Khawarij. The word terrorism is commonly used today by so many people. Believe it or not, there is no universal definition for the word terrorism. In the United Nations, there's a lot of debates, no agreement on how to define terrorism. And I don't want to take you into this battle over definitions. But what I would like to say, 2 points. Number one is there is a definition of the meaning of terrorism in our religion, in Islam, alhamdulillah. We know what that means. And that's what I would like to focus on. But also at the same time, I would like to say there is a word called extremism, radicalism. And they are quite different than the word terrorism. So being radical and being extreme is one thing, but being a terrorist, it's another level. Radicalism and extremism, when you become radical in your views and extreme in your ideologies, but not necessarily that means that you have broken the law. You know, and by the way, the word radical and extreme is kind of relevant. It's not standardized. And what I mean by that, some views were very radical at one point and now became a mainstream. Yes. At one point in our history, for example, in America, just the idea of women voting and women having rights, equal pay, that's a very radical idea. People who are happen to be black, it's radical for some white folks, you think at that time, have this radical idea to make them equal to white people. That was a radical idea in some people's mind. But now they became the mainstream. It's the radical the other way around. So what I'm saying is there is some ideas maybe radical at one point, extreme at one point, then by the time they became mainstream. So when we say this is a radical view, or extreme group, radical groups, not necessarily it means they Islamically wrong according to the modern definition. I just want to make that. But when you say a terrorist, that means someone breaking the law, someone using violence as a mean to promote his or her idea or ideologies. And that's never going to be a mainstream. That's never going to be correct and accepted, no matter how old this idea is, or how popular this idea will be. It will be always wrong. It will be always unacceptable. So for us as Muslims, the word terrorism, or as we say in Arabic, irhab, it is not something, a term that exists in the Quran and Sunnah. But the word carry a meaning that's very well known in our Sharia, which is al-i'tida, transgression. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ وَلَا تَعْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ مُفْسِدِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لا يحب المعتدين وأحسن كما أحسن الله إليك ولا تبغي الفساد في الأرض إن الله لا يحب المفسدين إنما جزاء الذين يحاربون الله ورسوله ويسعون في الأرض فسادا أن يقتلوا أو يصلبوا أو تقطع أيديهم وأرجلهم من خلاف أو ينفوا من الأرض ذلك لهم خزي في الحياة في الدنيا ولهم في الآخرة عذاب عظيم. So many verses speaking about spreading corruption on earth, mischief on earth, transgression, to transgress against people by harming them physically, or transgress against their properties, their wealth, taking their money, harming them in any form. This is what is irhab in our religion. It is to spread corruption, chaos on earth. And no doubt what we see today with these terrorist attacks that take place, it spread nothing but fear, chaos, creating a state of fear in the mind of people. Can you imagine you walk out, you go to them to public place like mall, and you don't know if there's someone going to blow himself up or not. A football stadium, or you go to even a masjid, or to your place of worship. Like when we heard recently in France, you know, a priest, an 80 years old priest will be slaughtered. He never thought that he will be killed in his sanctuary, and so forth. So another word also, الطغيان, which is the same meaning of transgression or exceeding the limit. فاستقم كما أمرت ومن تاب معك ولا تطغوا. الطغيان, which is a transgression against other. And these verses, there are so many of them, as well as the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, like Ibn Abbas reported that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in this hadith, Muslim Ahmad and others, إياكم الغلو فإنما أهلك من كان قبلكم الغلو في الدين. Be aware of extremism, being extreme in your views, because extremism basically lead to what? Lead to many evil things later on. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would destroy the people before you, then being extreme in their understanding and their practice and the way they practice their religion. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam warning us in this hadith, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, هلك المتنطعون. Distractions, and prayed against those mutanatti', as Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah said, the extremist, the one who take things to the extreme. So any act, in my opinion, done by individual or groups that contain transgressing against innocent people by harming them physically, or transgressing against public properties, or creating chaos in public, or destroying the wealth or the possession of innocent people in any format, by killing or destroying or even terrifying. It's an act of terror, in my opinion. You know, some people use the word like it is the use of violence or threat of violence in order to propagate a political, religious, or ideological change in the society. And when I say innocent people, I'm talking about non-combatant. And very interesting point to know, even if a combatant, someone who's a warrior, a soldier, not expected, he's not in the battlefield, even the soldier, the enemy that you fight in a legit fight, if he is in a state of safety and security, not expected to be harmed, you're not allowed to harm him. So even a soldier who's not in the battlefield, you're not allowed to target him. وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْ. If one of the mushrikeen that you fight ask you, take a word from you that he's safe, فَأَجِرْ, you have to give him his safety. You have to secure him. حَتَّى يَبْلُغْ مَأْمَنَهُ, until he reach basically his camp back. You cannot kill him. That's why we're not allowed to kill ambassadors or people who come from the other army to negotiate. You can't do that. Or when the other army collect the dead and after the battle in our history, you're not allowed to go on to kill these soldiers who collecting the wounded and the dead one in the battlefield. We have so many respected rules in our religion. So when I say innocent people, I'm talking about all those people. And that explained to you how today these terrorist groups are targeting so many civilians. And unbelievable. Nothing can justify the killing that we see done by these groups. And again, nobody tell me, yes, but they are targeting our civilians as well and targeting people. Ya akhi, you have a Quran, you have a Sunnah, you have a guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not because somebody did, so, okay, they drink and they fornicate and they rape and they do this. Are we going to go do the same thing? A'udhu billah. This is not a logic. This is illogical. So here, using violence, creating chaos, a state of fear, that's basically the main goal of this terrorist group today, or the goal of terrorist act today. I think you have something to say? You go ahead.
Well, when we think about the definition of terrorism, well, like you said, it's making people afraid and, spreading chaos and destruction, corruption everywhere. But, if we think about it, I don't think that it's, it's one dimension or the religious, it has a religious dimension only.
Absolutely.
It's both religious and
political.
Yes. When we think about the psychology of the terrorists who kills and shits bloods, I think we as people, as human beings, we have this instinct that we don't like bloods, bloodshedding and these
normal
these
person
things.
would, normal person.
So and Allah created us like this. So, and showing empathy, I just, before you kill anybody, any person, before I think about killing people, I have to think about myself. Would I like to be in this situation? Would I like to be in his shoes?
Very good.
Yeah, so, and it's really ironic to, all the proofs that you mentioned, Sheikh, mashallah, from the Quran, from Sunnah, that Islam is the religion of peace, is the religion of tranquility, religion of beauty, of moderation, and now all people, the international mindset, they're trying to attribute terrorism to Islam.
I have to take a break, but that's a very good point. Is it true that, not all Muslim terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims? Is that even true? Some people claim that. Let's talk about this when we come back from the break, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace.
TV commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV, acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to our episode, Heroic or Heretic. Before the break, we were talking about how terrorism is caused by many different reasons, not only religious reasons. And we mentioned something like somebody was suggesting not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslim. And absolutely that's not true. All statistics and security agencies around the world, in America, the FBI, CIA, you go to the European Union's security agencies, England, you name it, all of them will tell you that the percentage of terrorist acts that done by Muslims is way, way less. I'm talking about 2 to 5%. It is very, very small percentage. All like in a conference of sheriffs in the United States, they did not consider Islamic groups, terrorist group, as the biggest threat in America. But the reason that it became so popular because of the media. The focus of the media on any terrorist attack that's done by Muslims and connecting it to Islam and to Muslims became created like a big balloon. But it's really, there is no data to back this claim at all. I think the reason, one of the reasons that make it so popular or connected terrorism to Islam, not only the media, that's one part of it, but also I think, unfortunately, some of these terrorists, the violence and the act that they do is so graphic. It is so evil in its nature. You know, when they target like someone work in a like what happened in California, when a man and his wife, they leave their infant with their grandmother, and they go in a suicide mission to kill his own co-workers in a place where people in wheelchairs, and it's so sad. You know, a person in Nice in France drive a truck into people who are in the street celebrating a national holiday. It's so graphic in its nature, and I think that's what makes it very popular, like and use, I guess. What do you think?
Well, actually, you know, I find it really interesting to you know, to have this limited percentage of considering the Muslim jihadis or jihadists as terrorists in America. But why is that? Why you know, I find that there's discrepancy between there being this little percentage, and at the same time we find that in the European, in the Western world in general, they always attribute terrorism to Islam. But how can this truth be absent from the people there?
I think we need to do a better job in explaining this fact to people. I think the media, in many times, they're very biased. For example, when terrorist attack takes place by someone, they don't attribute it to their religion. They just say he's a Christian or a Jewish or a Buddhist or anything like that. If you notice these mass killing that taking place in Burma today, nobody speak about this terrorist work that done by the hand of these groups in Palestine. You know, the settler, when how they terrorize the Palestinians and killing the innocent people. Nobody speak about that as well. Yes, I know it's a problem, and I think we should do a better job. But this will not be, it should not be done to justify the act of violence done by Muslims.
Yes.
We always keep this in mind. One thing that I want to say, that alhamdulillah, the Muslim scholars spoke against terrorism very long time ago, way before 9/11. Some du'at and some activists start talking about the dangers of terrorism and extremism after 9/11. But if you look at our ulama, they spoke about it long time ago. I remember Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah had a fatwa more than 40 years ago about hijacking airplanes, destroying urban areas and buildings, public properties, targeting civilians, and all these kind of things that the terrorist group do today. And he said it's absolutely forbidden in Islam. Every single council of fiqh in the Muslim world have issued fatwas and many fatawas condemning these kind of terrorist act. Also claiming that Muslims are not condemning, not doing enough. That's not true. Yes, we need to do more in educating our own people and communities, but absolutely there has been done a huge amount of work and effort way before 9/11, after 9/11, and alhamdulillah, anyone study the religion understand that this act is not motivated by one incident or a political incident that make us now interested all of a sudden to speak about terrorism. No, we are against that. We talked about that. We teach that from a very long time, alhamdulillah. Yes, Omar.
Yeah, I just had a comment. I just remembered one incident at the time of the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, when at the time after the conquest of Mecca, and he said to Lady Aisha that if it weren't for your nation or your tribe, that they are very near to becoming Muslims, I would have, you know, brought down the Kaaba and
rebuild
it again. And this is an
according to the foundation of Ibrahim.
Yes. So for the sake of argument, if I have a terrorist now and I have an argument with him, I will tell him, even if it is something right, for the sake of argument, I don't agree with him, to hijack planes and to do all of these horrific stuff. you are driving people away from the religion. So your goal is not fulfilled. You're not achieving what you want.
Very good. Like, for example, somebody said, oh, there is somebody allowed suicide bomb. Okay? But whatever. Even though I do believe it's haram, forbidden, absolutely no doubt in my heart about that. But for the sake of argument, we say, what did you do by doing that? You achieved nothing.
Yes.
What did you do if you go blow yourself up in a pizza place in Israel? I'll be very honest. What did you achieve? Did you really achieve anything? Did make things better?
No.
I think that's a big question that, and again, I'm not suggesting that this individual belonged to a terrorist group or not, because they are, it's a whole different scenario in a land where there is occupation and there is a legit resistance, you know. But again, I will say that sometimes there's a terrorist act take place. Targeting an absolute civilian people is not allowed in our religion. I don't think there is anything can justify it, and it will only cause to more problem in the world. That's my opinion. I call them today, these groups, and I will be more specific today, as I said before, about the Al-Qaedas and the ISIS and these modern jihadi groups of today. They are the Khawarij of our time, the Kharijit of our time. And I don't know any sect in Islam was described in detail like the Khawarij. It's enough to know there is 25 companions reported that, to us and narrated to us the ahadith that speak about the Khawarij. 25 companions like Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. And it's a very long list. And Imam ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala collected all these narration. He said this is 25 companions have reported these ahadith. And in these ahadith speak in details. And again, I'm not going to go into the details of every single hadith of them, but they describe them in detail. Isn't that something ironic? Why you think the Prophet ﷺ gave a detailed descriptions about Al-Khawarij? What do you guys think?
I think it's due to their danger, you know, because I think they are more dangerous than any other group. Because
they are the most dangerous group. Very good point. What else you guys
I
think?
You know, they have Muslim names and they are into the Muslim community, but they are so dangerous. I think they are, you know, it's a danger which is concealed behind, you know, speaking with the words of Islam and, you know, maybe mentioning and reciting verses from the Quran and maybe the hadith of the Prophet.
Good. It's easy to be deceived by them because the Prophet ﷺ said they look like, you know, he gave them the description, they say the best of the speech. When they pray, you will see your prayers comparing to their prayers like nothing. And he's speaking to the Sahaba. Can you imagine? Their prayers looks like better than the Sahaba's prayers. And their fasting look like much better than the fasting of the companions. They fast more. They make qiyam al-layl. Even Ali ibn Abi Talib, when he was fighting al-Khawarij, Ali and his army go to sleep while the Kharijit cross the river making qiyam al-layl and crying, and you can hear their whining and crying in the qiyam al-layl and the fasting
so
in the daytime. So when you see that, يقرؤون al-Quran, they recite the Quran. They look so religious, big beard, turban, you know, say jihad fi sabilillah, al-amr bil ma'ruf nahy anil munkar. They carry and they have very nice, you know, a banner, raise nice banners, say nice words. They can easily deceive any Muslim. So that's why Nabi ﷺ spoke so much about them, because he knows that it's sometimes it might be hard for some people to recognize how dangerous they are.
Yes, but Sheikh, if we think about you know, these people, the Al-Qaeda or the ISIS nowadays, so you've got your opinion that you consider them as Khawarij or Kharijites. But if you look back at those people, the Kharijites in the time of the Prophet, or maybe Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, maybe Allah be pleased with him, they were like you mentioned, the prayers, and they're being close to Allah. They're trying to show they are pious. But if we look at these people, if we get close to them, Are they the same thing like these people? I think they are even worse.
I really
don't
don't
think that.
know. I don't know, but what I heard about them, they also pray a lot. They make qiyam al-layl. They do this in their some of them. But reports comes to show us that many of them have a double life.
Oh.
Many of them watch pornography, go to places used to be drinking, and they switch, kind of change. Some of them use drugs. There is a lot of conflict. I don't know. I'll be very honest with you. I can't trust many of these sources. But there is a common thing I've been hearing, that people who have very bad life all of a sudden switch to be members of these groups. I think our episode came to an end, but inshallah ta'ala, let's discover more about these groups in the next episodes, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you very much for being with us today, Ahmed and Omar, and also would like to extend my thank to all our viewers and to all the team here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Looking forward to see you in the next episode.
Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace. We made peace a symbol of ours. In the name of peace we gather here now. Oh Lord, please make these days of ours on this earth filled with peace. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, salamun,